Today, I just want to go over some typical traits of an empath and give you some tools on how to work on things to protect yourself. So sometimes you got to think of having almost like an energy force field around you so you don't absorb other people's energy or emotions, because sometimes you don't realize it, but when you're around somebody who's unstable, you'll start to mirror their stuff because you're picking up on it. Even if they're not acting out, you could just feel it. So these are just some things we should go over, and I'll try to do that now. Okay, so let's see. It says empaths are highly sensitive. Yes, we pick up on a lot of things. It has nothing to do with mind reading. It's just you could pick up not only on signs, but on energy. And that's probably the biggest thing. This is why you have to protect yourself and not give in such a way where you're putting yourself in jeopardy. If you're with somebody or has friends that are toxic and they always need you and you're always there for them and you don't know how to say no, shows that you don't have any boundaries and that you're not able to stick up for yourself or be assertive. This becomes a major problem throughout life. And this is something that most of us need to work on. And this is something that I noticed like 12 years ago that was really important. Because if you're around good, loving people that are caring, you don't have to worry about that. But it's the toxic people, the energy vampires, that you have to really watch out for. Because once they hone in on how much you give and how much you care, that you're always there for them, that you don't know how to say no, that you don't have boundaries when it comes to certain things, they're going to be all over you all the time. And then once you can't give that anymore, they'll be gone because they just use people. So this is why you have to be able to defend yourself and have healthy boundaries so you don't let people take advantage of you. Because that's the one thing, more than anything, you allow people to take advantage of you. And you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want them to feel rejected or unloved or uncared for. But you have to remember, you have to really love yourself and care about yourself to hold those boundaries. And this is where the conflict usually comes. Let's see. Empaths absorb other people's emotions. So whether the person's happy or anxious or depressed, if you're around it and you're not able to create almost like a force field around yourself, thinking to protect yourself, you're going to pick it all up and you're going to feel drained. You're going to probably feel anxious. You're going to probably feel sad. Even if the person doesn't say it, you will pick up on it because you can't help it. This is just how you're made up. You're like an old radio receiver where you could tune into all these different frequencies. And when you don't have control over it, it has control over you. Okay, so many empaths are introverts. I know I'm an introvert. I've been one since a child. I'm friendly. I have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people. I tend to be more of the popular person within any circle, because I'm a very loving, outgoing person, but I'm an introvert. So if somebody's an introvert, usually, that doesn't mean that they're an empath, but most empaths happen to be introverts. They like and value their alone time. Because same thing, if you're around a lot of different people all the time, you have to be able to protect yourself from their energy, because it's just the way you're made up. Empaths are highly intuitive. This is one thing for sure, is like you pick up things, your intuition, your gut feeling. It's like it's never failed me. And that's the one thing that I had to start to learn over time, is that I had to pay attention to it and I had to listen to it. Because a lot of times when it involves somebody else, I'd pick up stuff and I'm like, well, let me give them the benefit of the doubt. They can't do that to me. Nobody could be that evil, or this person can't turn on me. And my intuition was warning me, but I didn't listen. So in the end, once I experienced that person turning on me or becoming nasty or backstabbing me, it's like, damn, I knew all this. I mean, I knew actually play by play what this person was gonna do, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. And it's not even like I'm thinking and not trusting people. It's just, I picked this up and I'm like, oh, no, nobody could do that. They can't do that. We're such good friends. It's like, there's no way. And then when it happens, it's like, shit. It's like, why didn't I just listen? Why didn't I listen? Empaths need alone time. You always need time by yourself. Even if you're around somebody who's super loving and amazing, You just need your space. And this is okay. And this is why when you are dating somebody, you need to tell them that. Because it's like, oh, it's not about you. It's not that I don't want to be around you. I just need my alone time so I could recharge, center myself, and not be persuaded by anybody else's stuff. Because in life, you can't live in a bubble. And if you're in a relationship, yeah, you're in a relationship with somebody, but you're still around people, whether you go shopping, you go outside of your house, you go to work, you go to the gym, you go take a class. It's just you're always around people. So you just still need a lot of time to recharge. And this is something that needs to be shared with somebody you're dating so they don't feel like they're rejected. And that's another thing, as being an empath, some of us don't have the tools we need to communicate. And this is really important, because once you hold your boundaries and you're assertive, the only way that could happen is through communication. And one thing that ends up happening is, since you could feel so much, when you don't know, what you are, you start to think that they can also. So why doesn't this person stop doing that? Can't they feel that they're hurting me? Can't they feel that they're being nasty? No. And this is what happens a lot of the time. You think they could feel exactly what you can. And this is not the case. So you have to learn communication skills. And you could do it in a way that doesn't hurt the person. You could be tactful. But to communicate is not telepathy, right? You have to speak. You have to say it out to the person. Sometimes we have feelings and we don't know how to put it into words, right? Because we're not used to it. So the best thing you do is just write it down. Write down how you feel and how you're going to communicate it. Once you put it on paper, it becomes something more solid and gross, meaning physical. And then from there, you could actually work with things. Let me see what else. Empaths can become overwhelmed in intimate relationships. I just covered that, because if you don't express who you are, how you are, that you need time alone, then it becomes very difficult, because that person might start to think that either you're putting your energy somewhere else, you're holding something back, which makes them think you're lying and being deceitful. So you have to verbalize stuff so you can knock that out of the park where that doesn't become a problem, because it isn't. Let me see what else. Empaths are targets for energy vampires. Well, how is this? It's because somebody who's toxic needs a sounding board. You will be that sounding board if you're not honest to yourself and not showing self-love and self-care. You will be the sounding board for them, and you will stay there even though it's toxic and you don't want to hear negativity and you don't want to hear somebody talking about somebody else behind their back. You'll just sit there and listen, or on the phone, because you don't want that person to feel alone and rejected. It's totally absurd, but this is just what we do. So this is why sometimes you have to cut the cord with certain friends. If they're always full of drama and toxic, this is not good for you, because even if they're not saying anything, you could just feel it, and it's super draining. And sometimes you're like, well, why do I feel all this anxiety? It's, well, because you keep putting yourself amongst these people. Okay, let's see another one. Empaths become replenished in nature. This is what I've always noticed. When I was a personal trainer and I had a few hours of a break, I would drive about an hour to the beach, half hour there, half hour back, and just sit where the water breaks and just listen to the ocean. A lot of times going for a walk, just being out in nature. This is like something I know it helps me tremendously. Let's see. Empaths have highly tuned senses. Yeah, we pick up on a lot of stuff. But also a highly sensitive person and a narcissist can too, but it's for completely different reasons. A narcissist will listen and be very intent to all your verbal and physical cues because they're trying to mirror you. They want to see if they're safe, so it's all these things. We do it just naturally, and when we pick up on stuff, we're not using anything to hurt people or to manipulate people. If anything, we're trying to make people feel more understood and more safe, but then at the same time, what are we doing to ourselves when we know that person's a potential risk? What's another thing? Empaths have huge hearts, but sometimes give too much. This is where boundaries come into place, you know. So these are just a few things. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about was the news or TV. Right now, TV's totally used to program people, right? Programming. So a lot of it's out there to manipulate you, to make you feel a certain thing. And usually it's a negative thing. That's why when you watch news, it's usually never about somebody who helped somebody or somebody who did some type of a good thing for the community. It's very rare. Usually it's always somebody getting robbed, somebody getting shot, somebody getting killed, divisive politics. So you have to really watch what watch out for what you're spending your time viewing. Like, I know since I was a little kid, it was hard for me to watch news because all that negativity. And I was a little kid. I didn't know, all the things I do now. But the news, politics, it's like it's so divisive. And it's for a reason. It's a reason. Also, what movies and TV shows you watch. I personally cannot watch thrillers and dramas and horror flicks. I know the horror stuff is all made up and stuff, but it's like anything with a lot of manipulation and human suffering, I can't deal with. I could watch it and be fine, but it's just like I just feel so different while watching it, and it's like, why am I doing that to myself? I should care about myself enough where I don't have to put myself through that. So I don't watch those type of things. So if this is all new to you and some of this stuff rings a bell, you have to start to change certain things. If you're reading certain types of books, try to read stuff that's more positive and uplifting, and it has nothing to do with the whole fake toxic positivity stuff. It's about maintaining your energy and keeping everything balanced where you don't have anybody using you, abusing you, or sucking you dry, where you're always drained after you leave this person, or picking up the phone, or texting, or watching this on this social media platform. Sometimes we have to really detach from it, and you'll see things feel a lot better. If you have certain people in your life that are just users and only come to you when they need something, you might have to distance yourself. You can love somebody from a distance, but you don't have to put yourself in harm's way to save anybody or to save the world, because in the end, they're just going to go do this to somebody else, and this is something you have to realize. So when it comes to watching stuff, look at what you're watching and how it makes you feel. I know when I'm watching TV and a commercial comes up for like the SPCA with the animals, being abused and stuff, it hurts. Anything, also at St. Jude's, when that comes up, I do stuff for St. Jude's. I've done a lot of fundraisers already and stuff. I've made t-shirts for all the kids in the hospital one year. And just watching that, it's just too much. I know what's going on. It's not about trying to like shut everything out, like earmuffs, I can't hear you. It's just protecting your energy and knowing where to assert it. And this is, part of the journey. As we go on, we start to learn more things and we start to share, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So thank you everybody for watching today. If you haven't subscribed or hit the like button or left a comment, please do so, because this helps so much. So many people watch my videos and then leave nothing, so there's no engagement. And if there is, I know how to help you and serve you a little bit better, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So I will talk to you soon. If you have any questions with anything, leave some stuff in the comments, and we'll keep moving forward one day at a time.